Hey everybody, welcome back to Around the Emirates podcast with Sara Mousa, rice pizza guest from across UAE about topics you want to hear about. Today I have the absolute pleasure of being joined by Marina Bruce. Hello, Marina.
Hi, good afternoon, Sarah.
So Marina is known as the Desert Diva, and I'll tell you why. She's actually an accredited Abu Dhabi desert tour guide, and she literally knows everything there is to know about heritage and all the different cultural festivals that Abu Dhabi and the wider region hosts. So Marina, please tell me your story. How did you get so inspired by our culture?
Well, it started back in 2007 when my husband got a job with ADNOC. After 2 years, I joined him out here and I fell absolutely madly in love with the desert, but also a huge respect for the culture and heritage and the hardships that people had to go through not that long ago, really within my lifetime. Had I been born in the Western region, my life would have been very, very different and very hard in the early days. Fast forward a little bit, we discovered off-roading, which I became a fanatic of. I had a capsula, which would go anywhere, though I could still manage to get it stuck. So that shows how good a driver I was back in those days. And then I volunteered for the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge just for one day as a marshal. I stayed a week. And the following year, the course director, he asked me if I wanted to come and accompany the recce on some days to course set for the following year. And the minute I started that, my love of overlanding and not just driving round and round in circles, my true love for the desert began and all the wonderful places that's available when you are, in fact, an off-roader and an overlander. So since then, I've set up my own company and I also work with local partners here, Oman and Saudi Arabia. And I bring people guided self-drive adventures in the most remote regions possible. I always try and avoid other tourists. I want to show people what is behind the tourist trail.
That is beautiful. And I noticed you're also wearing the traditional attire, which I love.
Thank you very much. I mean, if I'm in the desert on a normal trip, then I'm jeans and a t-shirt person. But I'm lucky today. I'm talking to you from the Majlis at the Al Dhafra Camel Festival. I'm living in a tent most of the time. I haven't seen a ceiling in a bedroom for about 12 days. So it's rather windy here today, so I wouldn't be able to do this broadcast were that not be the case. So thank you so much for the festival committee and their generosity to allow me to broadcast from in here.
That's beautiful. I love it. I love the fact that you came here and just kind of fell in love with the culture and off-roading specifically. Like that is not for the faint-hearted. So that's very inspiring in itself. And of course, I mean, you're not of Arab origins, I imagine, correct?
I'm sadly not. I got my DNA done, and I was so devastated to find that I'm British and European. I was
I
sure I would have a
see.
tiny little bit of a Middle East gene in me, but no.
I understand. So obviously somebody who doesn't come from this kind of background, but is so kind of amazed by this background, obviously adapting to the culture, understanding the culture, becoming a tour guide, that must have come with some challenges, I would imagine.
I think the driving is the main thing because at first, oh, you're just a woman. Even now, local guys are a bit worried when they see me wandering through the desert on my own.
Mm.
But that, it doesn't worry me. I can drive. There are all different types of off-roading. There are easy drives that I do. I want to get somewhere. I don't want to spend my day digging a car out. I'd rather get somewhere and enjoy the scenery and the beauty. But there's also rock crawling. There's just beach driving, sabka driving, all sorts of off-roading. Um, so I've done them all, but my favorite, my true love, is the desert, as you can guess.
No, for sure. I mean, wow, like there's so much that you've done in such a short period of time. What would you say has been kind of your favorite experience or the funniest experience that you've witnessed?
Um, well, things are always happening to me because I'm out there, and generally I take them in my stride. Husband and I, we were in Oman. We did a 20-day tour, the first half with friends, and then we came through the Rub al Khali with just the two of us with our cars. One day we crossed some terrain which caused a lot of punctures. So, and that night, although we'd mended the punctures with plugs, we had to change a tire because it just wasn't holding at all. And we said, oh, well, the next morning we'll check everything's okay tomorrow morning because we're tired. I had a baseboard for my jack, which a camel spider was sitting on top of, and we thought, I'll drive away in the morning and we can get it then. Camel spiders are not poisonous or venomous. They're not as bad as you think. And farmers love them because they eat scorpions. Anyway, the next day I'm wandering along. We're 800 meters from the Saudi border, which, you know, they weren't quite so welcoming to Westerners at that point 10 years ago. And all of a sudden I heard a crunch. And then I was aware my wheel had fallen off. I don't mean my tire off my wheel, my actual wheel had fallen off. Because remember, I forgot to check my wheel nuts in the morning. And indeed, I forget to pick up the baseboard as well. So the camel spider is still probably sitting on it in the middle of the Rub al Khali in Oman. What on earth to do? So anyway, I phoned a friend, Mike Knott, who has written the book Off-Road Adventures in Oman and UAE. And he said, you're very near an army base. So he said, can you go to the army base with the good car? I says, yeah, sure, it's a truck, no worries. Jumped in the car, took photos of my car, went to the army base. I thought there might not be anyone there because it looked deserted when we passed it an hour earlier. But you know what? There were lots of people there. There were men with guns who were very surprised to see two white people turn up. So anyway, we met them. And they said, yes. He says, we should just phone somebody to come in and get your car. But we're going to Ibri soon, so you can join our convoy and we will get a truck to come in. Very, very nice. Now, I don't know if the Omani army regularly sends officers and heaps of people on a trip out to Ibri to get the shopping, but they did that day. And when we stopped at my car, the officer said to me, have you got tools to sort this? I said, yes, but you know, we're 50 and we're not strong and we don't have the knowledge on how to do this or the strength. He says, no worries. And before we knew it, it was an army exercise to put my wheel back on. And the army officers wandering along the track looking for wheel nuts that I'd lost on the way. So anyway, they got us back on the road. And young Tariq, the Omani soldier, who's just 25, he said to my husband, why you come this way? Good road from Salalah to Ibri. And my husband says, it's to see your beautiful desert. And Tariq says, what's to see? It's only sand.
No.
I have many more, but perhaps not so dramatic as that.
Oh, wow, Marina, you have been through more than most people who have been here for a lot longer. And that actually, like, you kept me like on the edge of my seat with that one. I was like, where is this going? Like, you show up to like an army base, you're now riding with the convoy, you're going to Oman, like you have like spiders in your car, like camel spiders, like where is this going? But thank you for sharing that story. Yeah, that gives me an idea of a day in the life of Marina Bruce, Desert Diva. And on that note, since you've obviously had such vast expertise and experience with kind of being in the desert, and as you said, you frequently go to the El Dafa Festival and the Camel Festivals, what would you say is a message you want the listeners to walk away with today about the culture of Abu Dhabi?
Go out there. This is such a safe country for everyone, especially ladies, a lot safer there than our own home countries, as is Oman and also Saudi Arabia. Go out there. If you need help for whatever reason, you will get it. You will be safe. Explore, go beyond the route. Notice everything, enjoy everything. Understand the different culture because they have different values to me traditionally, but I can understand them. And if you understand, then that's what it's all about, understanding other cultures, making friends, find out what connects you rather than what divides you.
You should be like a UN ambassador, honestly. Like you literally just like made it the new slogan for the UN for the next like 10 years. That's so like important. I love that.
Thank you. I'd like to do that. So if anyone from the UN is listening, Sara will have my number.
Oh, Marina. That's amazing. Thank you so much for such a beautiful, inspiring message. Of course, we obviously, I mean, we're lucky enough to be welcomed into this country as expats for the long term. And of course, it is, I mean, as much as we all appreciate the country, finding gems like you that really truly get knee deep into the sand and really truly appreciate the wealth that is a desert. That is a beautiful kind of story to come upon. So thank you so much for sharing your journey with me. And yeah, I can't wait to see more of what the Desert Diva will do.
Yes, I've got lots more stories, but I respond best while sitting by a campfire, and then we just keep going. You give me a subject, and I'll have a funny anecdote about it.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Marina. Take care. Bye, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Hamid. Thank you. Bye bye.